You're watching memorable entertainment television. MeTV Tri-State.
Broke the story on local homestead tax credit fiasco. Expose the Evansville Redevelopment Commission excessive spending habits.
Your community watchdog. CityCountyObserver.com is your online community newspaper dedicated to the progress of Evansville and Vanderburgh County. We're a nonpartisan publication providing insight into political issues and events that shape our community. We are a watchdog for you, the citizen. Check us out online, city-countyobserver.com. That's city-countyobserver.com.
Tri-State Voices, an open discussion with area leaders on issues affecting communities throughout the Tri-State. Now, here's your host, Mike Woods.
Good morning. Welcome to Tri-State Voices. Hi, I'm your host, Mike Woods. Every week, Tri-State Voices interviews a community leader concerning issues that are important to all of us. Tri-State Voices is jointly sponsored by WTSN, the City County Observer, and my office, Woods & Woods. Today, I'm honored to have Sherman Greer with us. Mr. Greer is the Democratic candidate for County Commissioner. For 23 years, he was the head of the Emergency Management Agency. The Emergency Management Agency is in charge of protecting us when some kind of a disaster strikes. A disaster could be a terrorist attack, floods, or like it was in 2005 when we had a severe tornado that killed almost 20 people. Well, Sherman was head of the Emergency Management Agency in 2005 dealing with that tornado. He received applause throughout the country for the fine work they did. Sherman, when you were with the Emergency Management Agency, you dealt with 2 Republican mayors, 2 Democrat mayors, county councils that were controlled by Democrats and Republicans. You dealt with county commissioners, dealt with state, federal, local, the city, the county, pretty much everybody. How will that experience help you if you do win this election to become our next county commissioner?
Well, first of all, Mike, I am going to win this election.
All right.
Be your next county commissioner. My experience there working with all those different factors is going to really help me out because I understand county government and city government a little bit better than maybe my opponent does. With the experience that I've had, I think I can put that together, and I will put that together with the other county commissioners, and we'll be able to not make some of the same mistakes that was made before and improve upon our community.
One of the big things that you're interested in, you talk constantly about, is that we need better jobs in our community. How can we do that?
Well, we have to attract companies to come to Evansville, come to Vanderburgh County, to be able to bring in better jobs. And not, I hear this throughout this time of the year whenever it's time for elections and everything, jobs, jobs, jobs. I don't want just jobs in Vanderburgh County. I want good paying jobs in Vanderburgh County so that our citizens, when they get those jobs, they'll be able to have benefits also with those jobs and good paying jobs, because whenever we have people that are making good salaries, it's going to be better for our community, to where that they feel good about themselves and they're able to do things that they weren't able to do before. So we're looking for businesses, industry to come in here we've got a good workforce here. That's one good thing about Vanderburgh County. We've got a good workforce here that people will work.
Well, how do we contact the businesses? Do we go directly to the businesses, the trade groups, the unions? How do you do that?
Well, I think you use all of those resources to be able to attract this type of, and then itself, Vanderburgh County's got to sell itself. And we are. You think about right now with the IU Med School coming in here, with I-69 coming down to Kentucky and the bridge into Kentucky. Those type of things will attract business and industry because of the infrastructure that we have, the transportation infrastructure that we have to be able to get to Evansville, and one route all the way into the southern part of the United States.
We really have a lot of resources here. We're just a little over 100 miles from 4 major cities, Nashville to the south, Louisville to the east, Indianapolis to the north, and St. Louis to the west. We have now a pretty good interstate system. They're finishing up I-69, then you got 64, of course, east-west. We have an abundance of coal, plenty of electricity. A valuable resource that people really don't talk a lot about, though, is the Ohio River. We have an abundance of fresh water. I've been reading a lot in the out west in Texas and a lot of places. They're laying off in factories because they simply don't have the water.
Exactly.
We don't have that problem.
No, we don't have that problem here. I mean, Mead Johnson's uses a lot of water and everything for making their product. It's one of those situations where that we've got this resource. Sometimes I think we take it for granted that we've got this resource, and we don't think about that as much as we should. But you know, this is it's a good fact, you know, that we have that resource to be able to have here, and also that river can be able to be used as another transportation route of moving products in and out of this area.
I guess we've always had the river, and we don't really think of a plentiful supply of fresh water as a resource. But it really is, and you wonder some of the factories that are having layoffs, if they were approached right now and say, hey, you know, you'll never have this again if you move to Evansville.
Exactly, exactly. And we have to get out there and sell Evansville, or Vanderburgh County itself. We have to get out there and say, you know, Vanderburgh County has the workforce, we have the resources that you need. Why don't you give us some consideration and move into the Evansville area or the Vanderburgh County area?
One of the things I love about the internet is it gives you access to all these different newspapers. And whenever I'm reading, I like to just scan around, read different newspapers, you know, Louisville Courier-Journal, Indianapolis Star, Chicago Tribune, whatever. But every time I look and I'll see a new factory opening up, or maybe some insurance companies opening their headquarters, something like that, I always kind of wondered to myself, why did they get that and Evansville didn't? Now maybe they've got an inside track. Maybe one of the owners of the company lives in that area, or it could be some other hook. But every time you always kind of wonder, why did they get that, not us?
Well, you know, and I think that's a good question, and you know, we all think about that, you know, whenever we have find out that some business moved in the surrounding area to us, especially, or you know, if they're looking in Posey County or Gibson County, you know, like Gibson County got the Toyota years back and everything, but still yet, what our focus will be, what my focus will be, is the past is the past. We've got to move on. There's others out here that we can bring into to the Vanderburgh County, and that's what we'll be looking into.
And you know, I think we need to think more of not just Vanderburgh County, but the tri-state area, like the fertilizer plant that they built up in Posey County. Mm-hmm. That thing cost more than the big football stadium built in Indianapolis, but you didn't hear near as much about that as you do the football stadium. But obviously, those jobs in Posey County, that's going to benefit Vanderburgh County. So maybe it needs to be more of a group effort by the whole southwestern
Most
Indiana.
Definitely. I mean, you know, because you look at Toyota. How many people come from Kentucky all the way to work in Toyota? There's people coming from all the tri-state area to work in those places. We have that here in the Evansville area. I used to teach emergency medical technicians over at Southeastern Illinois College, and I was amazed at the number of people that came over here to Evansville, to a doctor, to shop, different things like that, dentists, things of that sort. So the tri-state area, yes, when we get into these big situations, where that we can bring big industry in here, it needs to be a tri-state, our counties, Indiana counties, effort to all work together to get that in there, because it's going to benefit us all.
Well, and if you get, like for example, Toyota up there, they buy all kind of parts and supplies throughout the tri-state area. Sure. And so even though the plant technically is in Gibson County, it pays big dividends to Vanderburgh too.
Sure, sure, all around.
One of the things I've wondered about is, a lot of people don't realize, but Indiana is a big pharmaceutical state. It really is. And with Eli Lilly in Indianapolis mm-hmm. and Bristol Myers on the west side, now that we've got the med school downtown here, or we'll have in a few years, we're going to have more and more top quality researchers here. and we've got 2 major universities. I wonder if maybe Evansville could start looking about landing an Eli Lilly or an expansion of Bristol Myers or one of their competitors.
Well, you know, I'm hoping that Eli Lilly is looking at us, saying, okay, we've got this med school that's down there. We've got universities down there, that, like you said, so that maybe we can do some more research, have some more research facilities down here. Yeah, that's a good possibility. So we just have to look and see there again and do some type of a study on exactly how, you know, if that's going to be a possibility of bringing those in there. We'll be going after everything and anything that we possibly can get to bring in jobs. And it's like I said, it's jobs are jobs, but I like to have some high-paying jobs so that our citizens are well taken care of as far as their having benefits and those type of things to lean back on.
Yeah, sometimes when people start talking about jobs of some certain industry and you look at them, you say, wait a minute, those jobs are minimum wage with no health insurance. It's better than nothing, but that's not what you can build your community on. That's not what people can use to make the mortgage payments and all the rest of it. Maybe somebody just getting out of high school, doing that part-time and working their way through school, it's okay.
Right.
But what you really need is the Eli Lilly type thing, where
Exactly.
somebody's going to make really good money where they can support
Exactly.
a family.
Exactly.
You know.
They don't have to worry about their mortgage or anything of that sort, you know, and they've got benefits to be able to take care of their families with health benefits and everything. So, you know, this is what we're going to be looking for.
If you were going to grade the roads and bridges in Vanderburgh County, and you're going to do it from A to F, how would you grade them?
Well, I'd give them a D right now. I think we need to do a lot of work on our transportation infrastructure here in the Vanderburgh County area. We have a lot of our roads are crumbling and they're riddled with potholes. Some of them just need to be milled all the way down and started over again. I really feel that way, if at all possible. But there again, you know, when I go to county council and tell them that we're going to need more money for roads, they're going to say right now, because their budget they're starting to work on their budget now for 15. This is what you got to work with. And what we want to do is develop a 3-year or 2-year and 5-year plan to where that we will be able to say, these are the roads that we're going to be able to take care of right now. And this is the amount of money that we have to do that. So we have to start looking for alternative funds, grants through maybe the Department of Transportation, state grants, federal grants. Just get out there and do grant shopping and find out what it is that we can get to be able to assist the amount of money that our taxpayers have already given us to work with.
I know you said before that you think that we don't do enough pre-maintenance on roads and we wait till they get in bad shape. Is that a problem here?
Well, it's a problem anywhere in this part of the United States. I mean, when we have snow, and you know, just like this last winter we had, it was a long, cold winter, and that's not good for the roads. And then you've got to get snow blades out there and you know, scrape the roads off, different things like that, and that causes some of the problems itself. But still yet, we have to be able to say, okay, what are our major routes going to be? You know, we've got, for evacuation periods, if we had to evacuate the city, we have snow routes. And that's what we always use for our evacuation routes. That the snow routes would be the best way to send people because those are the ones going to be cleared first. But still yet, you know, those type of, with the hot and the cold like it is, it's not an ideal situation, you know. But still yet, you know, I was down in Florida 2 weeks ago for vacation. Their roads have the same problems. So, you know, it's just not hot and cold, I guess, you know, it's just the environment and everything else. So, but if we do put this 2 to 5 year plan together, or when we put this 2 to 5 year plan together, we will be able to say, okay, these roads here within the next 2 years are going to be maintenanced, and they're going to be brought up to a certain standard. And then we've got to keep those roads up to that standard and not wait for them to go down completely to where it's going to cost us more to do that. So the pre-maintenance and everything is just like with your car or anything else. You know, you've got to be able to catch those things, have the oil changed in it, then have it lubricated and different things like that. We need to be doing the same thing to our roads to make sure that they're viable.
I read a lot of articles over the past few years where it talks about the bridges throughout the United States are crumbling, and we're not doing enough to maintain our bridges. Is the problem here in Vanderburgh County any different than it is on a national scale? Are we better or worse? Or?
Well, I know the county garage has a bridge crew, you know, and so they're looking at those bridges. Whenever we were getting close, we thought we were getting close to the having that major earthquake, and we're still going to have that major earthquake sometime here in the central part of the United States. Don't know when or, you know, where or everything, but still yet we are going to have a major earthquake here. We were looking at all the bridges, and our newer bridges that we've got now and everything has the seismic specifications built into it. But we have a lot of older bridges that are here that could be in jeopardy. And those would be on some of the major routes that some of our citizens use out to the counties, and then some on state roads too. Most of the state roads have those seismic specifications built into them, and they've made retrofits to them to be able to withstand that. But still yet, we don't know. Depends upon the magnitude of the earthquake. And that's the ultimate disaster that we would have here in the central part of the United States.
That must have been really weird when you're the director of emergency management agency, and you're driving down the bridges and you're looking around and you think, well, if we have an earthquake, this is going to happen. Have a tornado, you got this over here, and
yeah. It's
leave you paranoid a little bit.
Well, a little bit. You know, you go into restaurants and things, and you got things setting up over your head, and they're up there, and you're going like. My wife would always go like, "Don't say it." I don't think we want to sit here, because a shake or something like that, if they don't have those things velcroed down or you know, anchored, boom, they're coming on to maybe hit you in the head or something. So it made us uncomfortable sometimes, but still yet, you know, it's just part of life. You just have to go ahead and go on with what you got to work with.
I feel your pain. I've represented people in car wrecks for over 30 years now, and every time I'm driving around, I remember the intersection. I represented people hurt there and people hurt there and all the rest of it. And my wife and kids sometimes make fun of me because you're paranoid. But you know, when you see disasters and you worry about your own family.
Yes, sir.
You know, kind of shifting gears a little bit, we talked about the bridges. The I-69 is almost done. They're finishing that last section from Crane to Indianapolis. The one thing, though, there's simply, I don't see it getting done for a long time, is the bridge over the Ohio River. The estimates on that bridge were somewhere between $800 million to $1.4 billion, and the state can't afford that. The county and the city can't come close to affording that. Is that going to get done without federal money?
It's going to have federal money. We're going to have to get some federal assistance on that, and it's a major interstate as it is anyway, so there should be federal funding set aside for that. I don't know what Congress is going to do about that. We are right now probably a few years out before we're going to be even starting on that bridge or awarding contracts on that bridge, but still yet we have to look at this right now and start building some type of agreement or understanding that the federal agencies are going to be a Department of Transportation of Indiana and the Department of Transportation of Kentucky are going to have to come together and then work together to where that bridge will be built.
It seems like when I look at like the Kentucky Senate race, I went on both their websites yesterday, and they kind of play at lip service, but it's not really, it's not a burning issue.
It's not a burning issue right now. Once they get Indianapolis done, from Crane to Indianapolis done, I think we'll start kicking more in gear on that and start working on that. So maybe another couple of years before that happens, but still yet, if we don't start thinking about it now and start putting it in front of the people that we've sent to Washington, D.C., and we're not, we don't want to be waiting too late for that. We just want to be able to make them understand that we're going to need help. We will do what we have to do, and we'll do what we can do with our own tax dollars if we have to use our tax dollars. But still yet, it's going to have to be a collaboration of the both states.
Yeah, my prediction, unless about 90% of that's paid by the Fed, it's simply not going to happen. And when I live in the northern part of Vanderbilt County, and I take that I-164, now they're calling it I-69, in every day. And when they first opened it, very little traffic on it. And it's picking up constantly. And once they get that last section from Indianapolis done, the amount of traffic on that thing is going to be tremendous. And then it's all going to be dumping into that Henderson area, which is really not equipped for that type of interstate heavy traffic.
I understand that, Mike. And have you noticed a lot more trucks on it?
Oh, yeah.
Big trucks. Well, see, what they use, the ones that's coming down 41 are now going to 64 over to I-69 and coming around Evansville. So that's one of the things that, the commodity flows that we have, studies and things like that we see where people are, those trucks and everything that's got commodities on them or hazardous materials on them and everything. I like it that they're going around Evansville, not straight through Evansville.
Yeah, but it's bad the way it's all funneled in through Henderson. It's a mess. Right. Kind of shifting gears, but on another infrastructure issue. Councilman Al Lindsay the other day was talking about Mesker Park Amphitheater. And the first estimates that came in, they were talking $10, $12 million. And not to speak for Councilman Lindsay, but it's my understanding what he was saying is if we restored it the way it was, we could do that for a lot less. We don't need the sky boxes. We don't need $1 million stage. We don't need the world's fanciest dressing rooms. Is there a future for Mesker Amphitheater? Can the county or city afford it?
I hope that there is. I think it's a good venue for people to go out and listen to music or have movies there. I remember years back we would go out to Mesker Park Amphitheater and they would have movies, and business and industry would be able to, if you went to a hamburger place or something like that, you could get a ticket to go into the Mesker Park movie of the night or the movie of the week or something of that sort. And that was a good venue for especially for people that cannot afford to go to a movie. And some movies I can't afford to go to. I mean, you go out and you take 3 or 4 people with you and everything, and that's you run into a lot of dollars and everything spending out to go to a movie. But still, yet this is something that the people that are not as fortunate as some of us are and everything to be able to go out and have a good time and be out under the stars. My wife loves to do that. She just likes to go out under the stars, and we go down to the river sometimes and just sit down there in the evening. So those are the type of things that I think people are missing out on here. That we do have that beautiful riverfront. If we get Mesker Park Amphitheater there, we go there and listen to some music, and that would be a good thing to do. And other things, so they could have plays there. They could have a lot of different things that could go on there. So.
Well, unless they find a way to get it way under that $10, $12 million price tag, I don't see it happening, though. The city and county don't have that kind of cash laying around.
No, and I don't think that we, what do you call them? The
luxury boxes.
Luxury boxes. What is that all about? You're going out there to be under the stars and everything. Anyway, that's the way I feel about it. Anyway. So.
You've spoken a lot about how Vanderbilt County does not do enough long-term planning, and earlier we were talking about I-69. It's 4 lanes throughout Vanderbilt County. It's already getting pretty crowded out there at the 8 o'clock and 5 o'clock times when people are going to work and going home. Once they get the rest of that completed, 4 lanes not going to be enough. The way that thing's built, it's going to be difficult to expand it into 6 lanes. Are we doing enough long-term planning
I think that long-term planning and smart planning is what we need to do, well, especially when we're talking about new developments and different things within Vanderburgh County. We have to be able to get together and figure out exactly, is this a smart plan? Is this a smart way to utilize this land here, and how we're going to be able to help the citizens within Vanderburgh County, not push them out, but make them part of this plan that we're going to be able to do some new development within our community. I think that the planning that we're doing now could be somewhat better, and having more people involved in on that planning. If I'm going into the west side, well, let's use the University Parkway. Let's use that as an example. We need to pull people in there. If we're going to go in there and make some changes, we need to have people that live there to be part of that planning. And some people would say, well, you know, you're really opening that up for some, no, we're not opening up for anybody to, if someone comes there and they've just, one of these, no, you can't do this, or no, you can't do that, then people are going to say, you know, listen, the majority of us want this done, or the majority of us do not want this done. So we just need to start listening to the people and everything on our planning.
It's kind of interesting. Vanderburgh County has 3 county commissioners. That's the executive branch of the county government. Whereas in the city, you have 1 mayor, the county, you have 1 governor, the federal government, you have 1 president. Would the county be better off with simply 1 county commissioner rather than a board of 3?
You know, I think that's a legislative, I mean, that's the way it's set up for the state of Indiana. All 92 counties have 3 county commissioners. Do I think it would be better for 1? I don't. I think that we need to see different perspectives. Just like I said, you know, with doing development in some places and everything, we need to look at a different way. I'd like to see, I may have tunnel vision on this thing and looking straight at it myself and going like, yeah, this is the right thing to do, but Mike, you'll come in as another county commissioner and say, but Sherman, you didn't think about this. Oh, well, you know, you're right. I didn't think about that. So, and then another one to come in and something else and say, you know, I think we should be more toward working with
3 heads are better than 1.
So yeah, 3 heads are better than 1, and a lot of times, sometimes you may not get that many people involved.
Sherman, I hate to say it, we're almost out of time. Could you just tell the folks in Vanderburgh County why you would like to be their next county commissioner?
Well, I would like to be the next county commissioner because I feel like I've got the experience. I've been working with 4 mayors within the city of Evansville, a numerous amount of county commissioners. I feel like that I, myself, will have the experience to be able to add more to Vanderburgh County. And I appreciate your vote in November.
I appreciate you being here. We hope you'll join us next week. Sherman's opponent, the Republican candidate for county commissioners, Bruce Ungenteam, will be here. We'll see you then.
This year in the Tri-State, 1 out of 8 people will be in an accident.
Would you know what to do?
Call Woods & Woods. They'll get you help.
When you call Woods & Woods, you are not a statistic. You are our client, and we will fight to get the money you deserve.
And that's what Mike did. He really fought hard for me. They just really cared.
If you've been injured, call 1-800-544-2108.
Let Woods & Woods work for you. You don't owe us a dime unless we win your case.
You're watching memorable entertainment television. Me TV Tri-State.